everybody. Thank you for joining us here. Welcome back. Hello, everyone. Hello, hello. Nice to see you there. 큰 박수 부탁드립니다. Hello, hello. I'm so glad to see you're all still here. You're waiting for the final session. It's a very important one. Welcome back to We Summit 24. My name is Laura McCluckey. I've been your host all day today, and I'll be back tomorrow as well. But before we get started talking about tomorrow, we still have our final session of the day. The next session is all about the refs. Now, in the dynamic and rapidly growing world of esports, maintaining integrity and fairness is paramount to ensure the credibility and excitement of competitive gaming. This panel will delve into the critical role of referees in upholding the standards of esports integrity, understanding the referee's role, training and qualification, and what the future holds within this field. The moderator for this panel is Igor Nedeski, Esports Manager at IESF. Please give us a warm round of applause. Thank you so much. He's joined by... You could do a little spin if you want. You could spin around if you want. Do a little spin. Yeah, do a little spin. Oh, yeah. He's joined by Anthony Lind, Legal Counsel at Esports Integrity Commission, Csaba Svara, Esports Referee, Petr Šťastný, Esports Referee, and Songwon Lee, an Esports Referee. Please join me in welcoming them all to the final session of We Summit 24. Gentlemen, have a wonderful session, and I'll see you in a bit. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Hey. It's good to see you again. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Referee Academy. Welcome to the fifth and last session for first day of West 24. My name is Igor Nedeski. I'm the Esports Manager at IESF. I will also serve you as a moderator for these panel discussions. I hope we'll have some good conversations here. Well, esports is growing faster than ever, but integrity is what keeps it strong and trusted. Today we'll discuss how referees play a key role in ensuring fair play and maintaining and trust in the competitive ecosystem. Referees are not just there to enforce rules. They're the guardians of the fairness and the spirit of the competition. Their decisions shape outcomes, protect fairness, and ensure everyone, teams and fans can trust the result. I'm very honored to share the stage with my fellow colleagues, so I'll let them introduce themselves. So, Anthony, please.
Thanks, Igor, and thanks IESF for inviting me out. For those who don't know me, my name's Anthony Lin. I'm legal counsel at the Esports Integrity Commission, primarily focusing on investigations and code breaches.
Thank you once again for inviting me as well. My name is Csaba Svara. I hold the position of head referee in IESF for the World Esports Championship, and I also do freelancer in the esports ecosystem, in tournament management and player hospitality.
Good afternoon. My name is Petr Šťastný. I still study at Technical University, and during my free time, I do esports refereeing as my freelancer job, and I mainly focus on mobile games, especially PUBG Mobile.
Okay, this is Songwon Lee. I've been working as a referee for the last 16 years, and now I'm working on educating and cultivating university students who are majoring in esports at several universities. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, guys. So we have quite interesting topics to discuss today. And let's start with the role and importance of referees in esports. And one, we can start with you. So how critical is the role of referees in maintaining the fairness and ensuring integrity in global esports events? What do you think?
Okay, this is a very important question. When it comes to an esports global, tournament, the fairness is always very important in maintaining fairness and integrity. esports referee should like do. We need to do everything like we need to like set up the rules and we need to consider the regulations if it's right or not, and we need to figure out the like the stage if it goes wrong, if something goes wrong, we need to figure out before we start the game, so that we can keep like fairness for each of like the players and teams. I mean, if we are not knowledgeable of these kinds of things, we can't really operate and manage the tournament in a right way. So I think like esports referees should be really skillful and well communication with not even just players, but coaching staff and production and organizers and everyone, with everyone. It's because of in the tournament, there are not just only players and referee, but also there are like production teams and organizers and you know, even other people, and many of staffs are here. So like between them, I mean, all of them have their own purpose of the tournament. I mean, like in terms of the production, they are like most purpose. I mean, priority is the broadcasting, not actually the tournament. But as a referee, between them, like we need to like we need to operate between them, and we need to keep like neutrality. It's because of we need to keep always neutrality. We treat them like in the equality, like same way all the time. So this is very important when it comes to like tournament. In the tournament, there are several, I mean, different positions and companies, organizations. They are on. I mean, they are aiming on different like ways and different perspectives. So we need to understand of it as a referee, and as we are working in esports field. Yeah, I think that's important, and yeah, this is important. Then we can keep fairness.
Yep. Oh, Anthony.
Yeah, I wanted to add something. So just as the only non-esports referee on the stage, so giving a sort of the outside view, esports referees to us is really the eyes and the ears on the ground from an integrity perspective. So in the times past, ESIC, we've worked with esports referees as an escalation point, but the reality is there's nothing to escalate if the esports referees don't pick up anything. So I think from that perspective, they play a very, very critical role in terms of integrity in esports.
Yeah, I totally agree. But the fairness comes from having reliable referees actually, and trained and skilled, and that is why we are dedicated to form a good referee academy. So in the future, commissions as yours can freely and easily work actually and investigate the issues. How does the presence of professional referees contribute to the credibility of esports as a legitimate sport? Anthony, that's a good question for you.
So I think first, before answering that question, there's a presupposition there that these esports referees are professional, and it goes to what you said earlier about the work that's being done to train and equip these esports referees to actually be able to do their jobs. So having said that, with any sport, any traditional sports, the presence of referees alone gives you a sense of security that what you're watching is fair play. There's a genuine competition there, and that's the entertainment that people enjoy. Yeah.
Sure. Anyone else want to add something on this? Well, it does contribute a lot, in my view of my perspective, basically, and from a tournament or organization standpoint. But also it gives the confidence to the players, so they can trust more in our organizations and how we develop the actual esports ecosystem, and we build our tournaments, because behind every tournament is real logistics, and the referees are, let's say, cherry on the top, basically. So the players are more confident when they see a professional appearance of somebody official, and not just people employed and to do actual work. So yeah, we're gonna discuss a little bit about the challenges in the international refereeing, which we are very familiar with, actually, since we are an international federation. What are the cultural and logistical barriers to implementing global referee standards, and how can they be addressed? I think, Csaba, you will be the perfect fit for this one.
Thank you, Igor, for the words. So I think we need to think about also differences between the online and offline, because both have different challenges which we need to face, where online environments can have a challenge in enforcing rules, which we might want to have the higher standard of fairness. But we have challenges, for example, culturally, where when you want to put a camera in a player's room, but for example, he's living with his other family, they don't want to accept that they would be on a broadcast, for example. This might be a cultural challenge. Also an offline event, in terms of scheduling, where I believe that the referee should be included also in the planning stages. There might be cultural differences where, for example, a referee is not that confident, or it's not culturally appropriate in his culture to, for example, try to force a player that he needs to be on time. He's trying to be respectful, but in that sense, he's also not following the protocols which we have in the place. So these can be the challenges on the cultural side. But in the logistics, I think that also comes down to budgeting sometimes, but also that we run tournaments globally, and there might be challenges of sourcing people from the region when we want to have a lot of people, for example, as licensed referees in that region, but we have challenges with sourcing them because there is a lot of travel, and there is a lot of costs included in that.
Yes, especially in IESF, for example, since we have 140 plus countries, and it's a real challenge, and we have real barriers, basically cultural barriers, when it comes to refereeing, and since not every culture is the same, obviously, right? And we find it actually really challenging. And it's a very good personal skill to have, to be able to referee international events, because that's how I personally think that's how you grow as a persona. It's not about only professional, but as a person as well. Yes, Peter, you would like to add something on this one?
Yeah, for example, I find if we are speaking about regional differences, then I feel that it's important to mention that we have also different religions. And during my tournaments, I often experience with players who are Muslims, and they have to pray several times a day, which may sometimes slightly modify the tournament schedule, because we have to add a pause for them so they can make their praise, etc.
Yes, that's very, very true. Yes. Okay. Yeah, Csaba?
So I was actually thinking a few days back when I was preparing for the Referee Academy about fairness, and I looked up the definition, and I found out that actually not all the cultures define fairness at the same way. And that's where it comes down. For example, in some cultures, it might be fair for them to aim for the win, no matter that they are not looking at breaking some rules, where when we define fairness in esports, we want everybody to follow the rules. So there might be also a cultural thing in this, that, for example, until somebody doesn't find out, it's fine in my culture because I'm trying the best I can. So this is also something where we need to agree together what are the rules and what we are trying to achieve.
Yes. Well, since we are international, let's talk about the need of the global standardization. Anthony, why do you think is creating a global standards for referee training and certification essential?
Yeah, so I think there's something off the back of what you said earlier about the challenges culturally. Having a international standard, or at least some standard, at least gives you a starting point from a conversation. So you're not saying, you know, in my culture, this is what fairness is. You can actually point to a set of rules that has been workshopped and agreed on, at least in a high level sense that you can speak to. But I think something else from a few of the panels earlier, you know, it's a known perception that the big challenge in esports is the fragmentation. So any move towards creating a global standard will have all the benefits tied with that in terms of efficiency, collaboration, and, you know, just, you know, really bringing that esports community together.
Yes. Want to add something on it?
Yeah, I can.
Yes, please.
So in the sense of standards, I think that we should be aiming to have standards in like general standards, so agreeing on basic rules. But there's always a bit of difference in some things, which I think is cultural. What we agree, that's, for example, some regions want to run their things a bit differently on a local environment. But where the challenge comes from, I think, is that when you would, for example, build a global structure and you would have, for example, local national federations or national tournaments having qualification slots into a different tournament, and they would be running a different rule set, for example, or applying the same rule set but different way, then there might come the integrity might be hurt, because I apply the rule one way in one country, but they apply it another way in another country. That's why I think it's important that we set the basic rules, and then we try to agree globally to have these people who will be deciding about this to be on the same page. Because some people say there is a lot of different logic, like you can, with different logic, come to different conclusions on the same question. So we should all agree what the logic should be.
Yes, please. Yeah.
So I think it's pretty unanimous that we agree that there should be some global standard, but then I think what Shaba's touching on is that, well, what does that look like? What's the breadth of it? You know, how are we going to drive this? And it'd be very interesting to hear from the other panelists who have been esports referees, how they've overcome some of these challenges and what those basic rules might look like.
Yeah.
Yeah, for example, speaking about the global standards, I think that already some global standards are defined by game publishers, because they have like some certain ways how the tournament has to be run. And if you want to organize a tournament, we have to follow these ways, what the tournament publishers like ask us to follow. So, for example, this can be one of the ways, or one of the examples.
Regarding the publishers, yes, but the publishers, as you know, they have some core rules that they set firm, and they say this is something that you need to follow, and anything above that, it's up to the tournament organizer, because we need to adjust our schedule, our tournament format, our setup, actually, etc. So, yeah.
Oh, you mentioned schedule, but not the schedule. The schedule is always not the way. Like, for example, because sometimes you have a global tournaments and you can't just run your own tournament while another global tournament is running, because like it might hurt like viewership, it's things like that. But that's not a part of the refereeing. That's usually part of tournament planning, etc.
Yes. So obviously, since you mentioned, that's the role of the referee has a different role actually in this situation, because the scheduling is also done by the marketing people, and since you're running the global tournament, as you mentioned, you need to adjust as much as possible the timings, so you can cover as much as possible from the scene. For example, I apologize, I'll get back to you. When we are doing events in Asia, that's a real challenge, because Asia is up front. And for example, for TS, in that case, TS is very popular in Europe, right? And we need to adjust a little bit our schedule to have to start the competition later. But that gives a challenge if the schedule goes above more than 12 in the midnight, which as a referee, we can all agree that it's not really good and healthy for the players. So from the referee standpoint, it must be taken into consideration to look after that. So I think it's very contradictory topic this about the scheduling and the refereeing. So let's leave it for the next time. And Anthony, you wanted to add something on it? No, you're good.
Can
good?
I
Yeah, well,
can I add
yes,
something, please? Okay, speaking of the standard of esports referee and the license, to be honest, we don't have. I mean, globally, we don't have like standard until now. It's been like more than 20 years in the industry of esports, but we still don't have an. I mean, we are still struggling to standard these such things, and what I'm suggesting is we need to have like certain types of like license that we may have a tier 3, 2, 1, and we need to divide them into like certain game titles or genres, yeah, something like that, so that we can clarify their like career path and the features of the referee. That so when we operate or organize the tournament, we can just figure out who is good for this tournament, who is good for this genre, who is good for this game titles. We can like figure out this kind of thing. But now, like, it's everything is different in any countries. I mean, so we may like as IESF Global, I mean International Federation, we could like make those kind of standards, so that the member of the federations from the IESF, they can follow the standard, so that they can make also tier 3, 2, 1 referee, and they can also be divided into like genre and certain game titles. So the educational things are all the same, which means that when we operate the tournament and organizing the tournament, it will be all the same. Then that can be the standard. But now it's all the different. So I think we need to aim to this kind of thing first.
I totally agree with you, Juan, and we need to be also focused on this one, because it is very crucial and important for the competitions to have the global standard. Even though there is no one game called esports, there are multiple game titles which are esports, but I think with a good planning and with a good cooperation between especially organizations, in this case ESEC, IESF, and the other TOs around the world, we can pretty much set the standards pretty high. Chaba, you wanted to add on it?
Yeah, I just wanted to add that, as you already mentioned, that there are different game titles and all might have different rules. So the standardization might be challenging, and you might actually need to divide people by what title they want to focus on. And that all comes with the experience of running tournaments. So also we need to have these people have a real life experience, and not only an academic one in that example. So.
Yes. Well, since we are in the academy world now, referee education and adaptation is a very important topic. So, one, I would like to start with you. How can a referee education adapt to the rapid introduction of new game titles and evolving rules?
Okay, here's the thing. The new game titles are always like releasing to public, and also for especially the referee is quite really challengeable every single time. Well, during my experience and career, I've been like refereeing over 10 different types of like game titles. It was really hard. I mean, think about it, like over 10 different game titles. You need to know all the regulations, and even if it's the same game title, different tournaments, they have different perspective and the point, and they have different the regulations. I mean, all the different. So that's why I told you before we need to have those kind of standard. So when it comes to new game titles, it's very hard to study by myself. So I think I'm suggesting that the National Federation or the International Esports Federation, they may organize what's the type of this game, what are the features of this game. So like they may, the study of the game exactly, and what's the important thing this game for if we operate the tournament as its esports game title. So like those kind of federations, I think the first they need to study about the game. So they are gonna like make the curriculum for this game for the referee. So each federations should like have the academy or like educational things or the workshop so that they can make their referees like better, I guess.
Yeah, I truly agree. Chaba, yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to join on the discussion. So with the new game titles, but also I think the existing ones, they are rapidly changing. Like we have updates, big updates, sometimes every week, sometimes every month. So I do believe that if we would go for a standardization, which we agree that we need, I believe there's a level where somebody can be a general referee and you have the general knowledge, which is transferable between the titles. But then you, as we discussed, have some game titles you focus on. And be even within that game title, you still need to develop yourself. You still need to be up to date with the game, play the game, so you have the knowledge. I think Peter loves to talk to the community to understand what, for example, they want to have implemented in the rules for the next tournament. This can be in the community level, but also you might transfer it to the higher level. So I think there are more challenges. And here, for example, the publisher of the new game might be able to help you to always communicate with you or try to communicate with you ahead of time what might be happening. I think having the national federations, having the licenses or reacting that fast might be really hard because the changes are coming all the time and updating the rule sets need to be done fast, and the part of the organizers are still like third party not connected to this. So right now it's still a mix, but maybe in the future, once everybody is connected, then I think it's important to have fast reactions on this and not like wait and retrain the people like in weeks or months, but they need to be trained like fast.
Yeah, I think the answer is also partly demonstrated on the stage here. So the three of you have all had tremendous success as esports referees in a situation where there's an absence of global standards. You yourselves have had that passion to develop, to keep up to date, to make yourself valuable to the TOs so that you demonstrate the necessary skill set. So I think particularly in a situation where we don't have the global standards yet, or we're still developing, or that's still a work in progress, I think it's still very much on the onus is still very much on the referees to be the ones who have that passion, have that drive. And I think your academy that sort of not just focusing on the academic, but also the practical. So, and that through that trial, you'll see who has the passion for the esports industry, who's here just for the lights, right? Or who's here because they want to live and breathe this. So.
Yeah, I just wanted to add on that even though everybody is not united yet, the biggest organizers most of the time try to cooperate. They communicate between each other, the referees and tournament management departments, and they're trying to set the standards at least between each other. And then it comes down to the lower organizers at the time to try to copy them and try to apply the higher standards based on what they're able to do. So.
What I wanted to add is that I think that it also depends on the level of the standardization, because it's not possible to standardize everything. There are many situations which can be like described in advance, which might occur during the tournament, which might surprise us. And at this point, it's also a very important part of the referee job to be able to improvise, to be able to work on the plays, to be able to do a decision which isn't described in the rule book, but which will maintain the fairness and integrity of the whole tournament.
Yeah, I think like maybe the best way is to describe it is that we all have some inbirth values, which we have. Somebody is good in math, somebody is good at something else. And we can educate people on what are the standards, how they should uphold them, but they still need to be also like a personal quirk of a person to be able to act under stress, think, and try to act in the most fairest way.
Yeah, I love how the global standardization topic still going. Yes, I know it is a very good topic to discuss. Basically, I think we can have a couple of hours of discussion on the topic. But yeah, let me add some comment on the education and adapt to the rapid growth of the and the new game titles. Actually, introduction to the new game titles. We are very fortunate that we work with some of the publishers, and they're basically their way of working is very helpful to us as an organizer, because they're always constantly sharing the new updates, even the pre-updates. They are giving us a heads up, guys. For example, we on the WEC 24 we had updates coming. Scheduled updates from the publisher, obviously, and they're important for the game itself. But they told us, like, guys, there will be update. Here's the link, the new link. Update the game so the players will not face any issue in the competition. Also, when the publishers, for example, the publisher that we work are very helpful to us, that they are not pushing any big patches on our tournaments, so we don't end up in having new heroes or new map or something very crucial to the competition. So yeah, I think this is a good topic to discuss, and we all of the stakeholders in the industry need to take this very serious, so we can actually develop the true competition based on the new futures that are coming with AI, with everything else around it. We're going to talk about it a little bit later, but we need to understand that yeah, we need to preserve the competition, not by all costs, but with the most cost, basically what I mean. So yeah. Well, Peter, I would like to have a discussion with you about what is the role of event organizers and game developers in ensuring referees stay updated with the latest advancements in the game.
Well, I think you already mentioned many of things which I might, for example, say for this topic. You mentioned, for example, what is the role of the tournament organizer. In this case, I think it's mainly the role of someone who is standing in the middle, who is providing the communication between the game publisher and the referee team, because it's a referee team who is operating or running the tournament on the stage, and it's the referee team who needs to know all the information, and this information needs to come from the game publisher. Information about what are going to be, if there is going to be any update, if there is actually going to be any update, what we should expect, so we can prepare in advance, and we can, for example, adjust our rule sets for it. And it's, I would say, not a topic which is like really nice to speak about, but sometimes some games may contain bugs, etc. And for the referee team, it might be very important to know about all the possible errors or like situations which might happen, so they can again prepare for them in advance. And yeah, maybe like I hope that this was answering your question.
Yes, as I mentioned in the previous discussion, before the actual question came, the publishers and the game developers actually of the game are also helping us a lot in the field of creating rules or executing rules or creating tournaments, because they're willing to share their development plans, let's call it that way, which is very important. So as you mentioned, it is very crucial to so we can adapt and adjust the rules. Well, what do you think, Juan, about this? Actually, I want to hear a opinion on the topic.
Um, okay. Yeah, of course, it's very important to between federation, I mean national federation, world, international federation, and the publisher. They collaborate to each other is very important. It's because of when we like operate the tournament, organize the tournament, we need to like have like certain kind of permission actually, and we need to get some information or stuff for like clients for only not for the public one. We need to have like for the only tournament version or something like that, and we need to always have, and I mean the games, the titles are normally updated, I mean many times, even in a month. So those kind of things we cannot really figure out right away if there are, I mean, certain bugs or not. It can change every single day. So I think it's really important to collaborate with like between, I mean, the federation and publisher.
Yes. Thank you, Von. Since I mentioned AI in my previous talk, Peter, since you are into it very well, and I would like to ask you, how can a technology, for example, AI tools, VR simulations, enhance the training and the performance of esports referees? And does it pose a threat to the role of human referees in the future?
Even though that I study technical university, I'm not that kinda like optimist, or I will say it with different words. Sometimes I'm kinda pessimist or pessimist about the AI. I mean, I think that AI can bring us many possibilities, new futures, but in this role, in this position, I'm not that visionary to imagine what can be the possibilities. But if you are, for example, speaking about technology, I think that the technology is already an important part of the refereeing job, especially if you are, for example, speaking about cheating, or for our referee job, we use anti-cheat tools. And this is something which is very important in the matter of the technology. And most probably AI can play an important role in this as well, because it can affect how the cheats are developed, or at the same time how the anti-cheat tools are developed. But last point you mentioned is how it can affect the role of the referee during the tournaments. And at this point, I think that the referee is still very important at this point, because the referee play the role of kindness, not kindness, but a human. The referee is still a human, and he can decide the situations based on the current facts, which I think that tools like AI or in general any artificial intelligence can't like improvise the way the referee can.
I completely agree with you, Peter. Actually, nothing can replace the human judgment when it comes to situations, and especially being a referee where it's all about the judgment, right? And yes, I completely agree with you about the anti-cheats and everything, that the AI will actually improve and help the referees. But my personal opinion on this topic is that AI will never replace the human factor. I know it's controversial. I know. But I truly believe in that, because when it all comes, we are all humans, as you mentioned, and the human judgment is the important one, which is you can put yourself in the player's position. There are multiple reasons for something to happen and to be involved in the AI tool using to solve your case. So. Yeah. So Anthony and Chaba want to talk about it. So please, Chaba, go.
Yeah. I just wanted to say that I'm not sure how far in the future this might change, but maybe in the closest future, when we see how AI is developing, people are hyping it up. Some people say it's some tools which you already have, just change name to AI because it's right now everybody likes it. I think that there might be tools which might be able to help us to make our job easier. Or help us with logistical issues, where we might be able to have a referee do a job of 2 referees right now. In the previous panel, I think there was a discussion about AI tool which can translate live. This is a topic which we discussed in our Referee Academy, I believe, yes. That you are trying to have rules about, for example, ethique, that the players shouldn't swear or shouldn't be like aggressive towards other players. And there is a challenge in current ecosystem that the referee can't speak all the languages. So when you have a multi-language tournament, a player might be saying something, but you don't understand what he's saying. And maybe in the future, there might be a technology, or partially maybe existing already, which can help to translate, for example, for a referee, everything the players are saying, so you could understand it no matter what language they say, which might help us improve, for example, the integrity and the fairness of the competition. So I wanted to add on that.
Yeah. So I think I might be a little bit different to Peter here. I'm probably a bit more optimistic about technology in the future of AI, but by no means a specialist in AI or someone who's across all the detail. But when you think about whether AI poses a threat, you have to take a step back and go, what is AI, right? And in my mind, it's mass machine learning. And when we think about new titles, the challenges, we've heard multiple times that esports is a mental game. And I think across different titles, there's just so much variability that there's a question of, how much data, is there sufficient data there to be able to, for AI to learn on and actually be helpful. But in that sense, I still think like what you've touched on before in terms of how it can help the referees, and I think we spoke about this backstage. It's the fact that referees are a cost center for tournament organizers. One shows the commitment towards integrity by literally taking out of their profit margin, paying referees to be there. But at the same time, because it's a cost center, it faces constraints, and technology could be a great help in that area. So,
Yep.
Yeah. I just wanted to add to that maybe in just thinking of the next coming few years, the position, I think, we are still working with technology. We know technology breaks all the time, so you will for sure need people there to be helping the players. And from experience, I know that the players actually are also happy when they see familiar faces and they know that this referee is a good referee, he knows what he's doing, so they are confident when there's somebody to help them with the technical issues in a mental state where they are, for example, nervous because they are playing a really tight game, and since something happens and the referee is there to help them or decide, and they know that at the moment the decision for them, for example, might not be favorable, but they know that the referee is deciding good based on his experience. And this there might be like a world where maybe the AI will take over and be able to be more fairer, but I'm not sure we are there yet.
Yes, I agree. Peter, do you want to add something, or I'm just...
I mean, the only thing I can add, I think, is that I was judging the AI based on what are the current possibilities and what I can currently see from my perspective, but we don't know what will happen tomorrow, and at this point we can't even say what the AI will be like what will be the possibilities of AI 1 year later, 2 years later, 2 years later. So we will see, and yeah, that's also part of the refereeing job, to be able to adjust to new technologies, to just follow the flow and be able to still maintain the fairness in the competition.
Yes. Well, I'll stick to my point. AI will never replace the human. So, okay, since we are getting closer to our dedicated time slot for this panel, I would like to thank you for joining me on this panel discussion about the referee and the role of the referees in the whole esports ecosystem. I believe we can all agree that it's a very important role, and it's plays a crucial part of every competition, not only esports, but also in traditional sports as well. And we would like now to invite the audience if they have any questions for us. So we'll have around 14 minutes. So feel free to ask us anything about the topics that we discussed or the general refereeing. So we'll be happy to cover.
We did that good of a job. There's no questions.
I don't know, questions? I don't believe so. Yeah, there are few attendees to the academy.
Well, hello everybody.
Hello.
Instead of asking a question, I would like to thank you publicly for allowing us to attend the academy. It was a great pleasure. All of the referees and the workshop that we did. Maybe I can suggest like this, that we would do this more often, and if we can't do it in person, that we organize some Zoom calls or Discord. I think it would be really, really good, because as they said, referees are really needed, because something needs to happen wrong for somebody else to react, and referees can prevent this, and definitely like in traditional sport, they are more than important. Thank you for really all of the great time that we had.
Thank you so much. Thank you. A few more questions.
No.
Apologize.
Just kidding.
Just kidding. We will call you.
Sorry, first, thank you, like Milan said, but if you want to give all the students in the referee academy just 5 advice we focus on to be an international referee, just 5 advice to focus on to be an international referee.
Oh, 5? We had workshop for 3 days. I believe we made ourselves clear. But I can give you only one. Stay focused. So that's the most important thing, and consistent. Okay, there are 2. So yeah. Thank you. Any questions? More?
So,
Okay. Okay, we have
who,
here as well.
who first? Hear me?
Yeah, you go for it.
Okay. You know, as in traditional sports, they have an international board of referees. Do you think, or do you want to create in esports an international board of esports referees?
Well, am I the only one who will answer everything? Well, we are still in discussions. Obviously, IESF is an international federation, and we will look into it really after all of these discussions in the panel and the referee academy, and after this V Summit, we truly understand how important is the role of referee and the academy actually of the referee, and forming committees, commissions, and some bodies for referees. But yes, we're gonna definitely look into it, and we are openly inviting any TO basically to join us, to have a discussion with us, so we can actually find a way how we can set some standards into that field.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right.
Yeah. Please.
So again, I'll come back to comparative mind sports. Yes, of course, there should be some sort of certification program over time, not just a basic certificate, but actually even qualifying the level of the arbiters or referees. So, for example, in the chess world, we have from category A up to category D, depending on which events they've officiated. In, for example, South Africa, they even give a rating system to the arbiters based on the complexity of the event, if it's a junior event, if it's a championship event, and so on. So these are just lots of ideas, again, I'm willing to share with IESF. IESF are members of IMSA, so they're more than welcome to actually share this experience. But then, of course, I mean, the main thing is that you're always investing continuously in referees. And the referees in mind sport are not active like in physical traditional sports. They're not running around like in football or whatever. So there the judgment is more of the interpretation of the technical rules. So it's not just the referees commission. We have an arbiters commission, we have technical commissions, we have rules commission. And they fight actually between themselves, and they're all referees of the various things. But they fight between themselves on the principles of certain of these rules. But when you do have such a setup, it gives you an enhanced credibility, particularly with the publishers, because the publishers start to understand that you guys have actually become the knowledge center for this. And it's not just, it's nice to have this, it's you're actually doing it, and you're actually producing something in a very objective way. And since it's all qualified, certified, continuous evaluation of the arbiters, I mean, you'll see many of the mind sports players sometimes complaining about the level of the arbiters. They'll say, oh, the arbiter doesn't understand the rules. But, you know, so these sort of things you can only do by proper training seminars or continuous. You do them across the continents, continuous. You involve commissions in various areas so that the arbiters are exchanging best practice experience. And of course, you'll have a very strong basis. The main thing is to get the relationship. Of course, you have a relationship with publishers, but today the publishers are pretty much standalone. And whether they observe your rules or not, they don't really care, because they may say, listen, these are our rules, and they're more or less fine, and you take them or leave them, it's our event. But if you do have good events, and nowadays all the private events, for example, in the chess world, follow the FIDE rules, because there's a lot of work that has gone into them, and people follow. They don't just say, we'll invent our own, you know, so there is that level of expertise. So if you keep working on this area and developing it even more deeper, it's only going to help you get even stronger. Okay?
I agree on most of the stuff you mentioned. And yes, esports is new, actually, even though it's in the market for quite some time. But the rapid growth of esports, like now, it's new. And it's a new field of work. And we are, all of us, IESF, ESIC, TOs around the world are investigating every aspect of it. And when it comes to the referees, yes, we need to have all the committees. We need to have all the commitment. Yes, that's thank you. That's the word. So we need to sit down actually and to brainstorm a lot of stuff so we can build a strong and good fundamental sport. And Csaba?
Yeah, I just wanted to add that I think that even in the world of a referee, there should be, or actually in the third party, not IESF part, there are levels of referees based on their experience. And I think even if we standardize it, there should be a difference, because, for example, you should have a general understanding of how you should do the work, but you don't need all the decision-making knowledge, for example, if you are just the one who is behind the team, focusing, for example, on the technical and just the execution part, whereas where you're a tournament manager, you need to think about all the other aspects as well. That might be a different level of education, and experience which you might need for it.
But if you wish, Igor, at one point in time, I mean, we can network you with, let's say, the World Chess Federation, the World Bridge Federation, which have years of experience and structure. And you can say, we can either copy, we can see what's adaptable. It's very easy. So it's just a networking invitation.
Thank you so much. I would love to. Well, no? No more questions? Oh, we have few. Okay.
I would like to jump on the first topic, the integrity part. So since currently the Referee Academy is giving us the knowledge and the basics of how to actually get and attain the core values to be an international referee, how we can also align in our heads and our mind and the knowledge that we receive to also keep the level of our integrity to be aligned as the same core values that we also attain in those courses.
One? You want to go for it? Oh, well, how do you align with experience? So you need to start somewhere, right? Yeah.
I think this is from observation. So
Yeah.
not having esports referee experience, looking at again my colleagues on the panel, they have gone through the hard yards. And the reality is they have the passion for the esports industry, right? They see the integrity of or maintaining integrity as pivotal or sort of crucial to the success and the continued growth of the esports industry. So I think so long as that's still your passion, I think your values will still be aligned. Yeah.
If I add on, I just want to say, like, do you think there should be also a rule for the ISF also to create some commission to also keep updating and giving more knowledge and more standards for the integrity itself for the referees than the future international referees?
Yes, of course. That will be the referee academy for. So we're gonna build a good system in the academy so we can keep improving and keep advancing and keep pushing actually the referees so they can always stay up to date and to become better and better.
Thank you. Thank you on behalf of Jordan.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. If you want.
Igor, can I come out now?
Yes, please.
Oh.
Yes, please.
I got you. Boban, don't fire me, please. Okay. Thank you so much once again to our fantastic moderator and our panelists. Give them a huge round of applause, everybody. Thank you. All right, if you can just stay with us while we do the closing, that would be wonderful. It's already time for us to wrap up day one of We Summit 2024. Can you believe it? Have you had fun? Yeah, absolutely. So, before we say goodbye, I want to remind you that we have a fantastic networking event up there, okay? After you're finished here, get yourself up to the 16th floor, enjoy drinks, enjoy food, and please, please, please make sure you network and make all those connections that are going to be so important moving forward. I also just want to take a second to thank our We Summit 24 sponsors, Busan City, the South Korean Ministry of Culture, Sports and Tourism, the Busan IT Promotion Agency, and we'll see you back here tomorrow morning. You're all coming tomorrow as well, yes? Yeah, yes? Yeah, you can make noise. Yes, yes. We'll be back here at 10:30 a.m. We've got an exciting lineup planned for you. But before we wrap up, let me say one more time, thank you so much to all of our team here, to all of our speakers, to our technical team, and of course to all of you for joining and supporting this fantastic event. You are making it possible. And so we want to give a huge, huge thanks to everyone who's joined here today. Okay, I've talked too much today. I will see you at the party. My name is Laura McCluckey. I'll see you tomorrow. 감사합니다.